On this episode of the Layover Live, Jennifer Case from Traverse City stops by to talk paid media. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 122 of the Layover Live, where we bring you the top article from the Layover each week. I'm Jason Swick, VP of Digital Marketing, joined by special guest Jennifer Case from Traverse City Tourism. So welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're really happy to have you. And, as we're starting to talk today, we've been doing a lot of talk around, kind of moving to recovery. And as the travel industry's response to and recovery from COVID-19 continues to unfold, we are now shifting from more of a reactive to a proactive state to enable travel across the board and really, more importantly, to restore demand, which is really important. Attention is now turning to marketing initiatives that are going to be the most effective, which is exactly why we have you here today. So rebuilding a traveler's trust and willingness to even travel and take a trip is going to take time, and it's certainly going to take more than a DMO to convey. It's really an effort from top to bottom. In fact, in our article of the week, which we'll talk about here in a second, it does a really great job of spelling out that it is going to take an effort across tourism, from the travel industry at a high level. So if you think about USTA and Brand USA, the category level for like our travel providers, the brand level and destination level need to all come together for us to make this work. Now, boosting travel demand is going to take reducing consumer uncertainty, which is a monumental task if we ever hope to return to some sort of normalcy. And one destination out there being proactive in restoring demand is Traverse City. But before we get into questions that I want to ask you, and I've got a few I'm very eager to ask you, Jennifer, I think maybe some folks out there don't know you or haven't seen you, so maybe a little background on yourself and let everybody know who you are.
Sure. I'm Jennifer Case, Vice President of Marketing at Traverse City Tourism, and I've been with Traverse City Tourism for 21 years in various capacities. I started managing our website and then moved on to Director of Publications, then Creative Director, and now for the last 3 years, I've been in charge of all of our marketing as Vice President of Marketing. I'm also on the West Michigan Tourism Association Board, and recently I received my certification, my CDME, my Certified Destination Management Executive credentials with Destinations International, so that was exciting.
Well, wonderful, and congratulations on that. I know it's a big undertaking, and so congratulations there. And so, one of the reasons I want to have you here is because of some of that expertise and sharing what some of you guys are doing with your team, with Corinne and everybody in the destination, right? And so our article of the week this week comes from PhocusWire, which shares the idea that every part of the travel industry is going to play a key role in these recovery efforts, and it's certainly true. So Jennifer, I'm just going to hop right into it. How has your team approached recovery and really turning your guys' paid media back on?
Yeah, well, we wanted to somewhat get ahead of what looked like it was going to be a crowded space for advertising to get back, to get some visitors back to our communities. So, but by the same token, we wanted to be sensitive of the consumer sentiment for travel advertising. So we started with what we call our first phase, like the dream phase, a sort of a soft approach to get potential visitors thinking about traveling to the Traverse City area. And we also know that there's about a 30-day attribution window that, it'll take visitors that long to decide whether to come to Traverse City or not. So we wanted to get them thinking about that. And then to answer the second part of your question, we used various sources to help us make the decision on getting back into paid media. So we used our state and local reopening plans to make some decisions. The Simple View support team for sure was a big help. Various webinars and vendor data was definitely played a part. And then we also talked to our hotel partners quite a bit and found out when they were launching their campaigns, and we wanted to be a support for them as well.
Yeah, I think, and it's good points to make, right? It's kind of taking this information from all of these different sources, which is important, right? It's like, hey, okay, let me see what vendor data I can get, using things maybe from DMO Insights or maybe from Adara or others that are in the space that have tons of data out there, right? Whether you're working with them or not, those are good. That's good information. Getting stuff from DI, seeing what my local stakeholders and partners are doing. I think it's all important because those all, again, as we talked about this article being, really this everybody sharing this information and coming together, it really plays into that recovery planning. So, how have your then advertising strategies shifted compared to this time last year? Now, obviously we're in pandemic time, but how have you shifted those strategies then for your guys' advertising compared to how it was before?
Well, we've actually changed quite a bit. Traditionally, summer has not been much of an issue for us to get occupancy. We're a big summer destination, but and putting most of our dollars then in spring, fall, and winter. But this year, with spring being almost no occupancy, and then with more and more competition, we have jumped in full force with summer and really put most of our dollars into summer promotions. And then we also, in the summer, we focus a lot of money on our fly markets, whereas this year we're spending a majority of our money in the drive market area.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And we've talked about this even, on the show quite a bit. We've talked about it in webinars. Drive market's going to be that real key focus, right? There's a lot of data pointing there. People are going to feel much more comfortable hopping into their cars, knowing they can get back to safety if something was to happen. We all pray and hope that doesn't happen, but I think people are going to kind of ease back into things a little bit, right? Like, Ryan even shared earlier as we did our kind of pre-summit snack talking about data, and he shared a lot of insights into booking data and website data. All of those signs are showing that people are starting to, look at things a little bit. They're starting to, kind of turn over some rocks and find some places to go. We've seen data that is showing that people are looking for those outdoor activities. They're looking for, ways to get out, and it's going to be, really drive markets are going to focus that. So I like your guys' focus there. Now, looking at that though, I got to imagine that how you guys maybe measure success in the past is probably a lot different than how you're looking at it now for campaigns that you're starting right now with your summer campaigns and moving forward. So, how are you guys measuring then success now with some of these campaigns? It's got to be different, I imagine, right?
Well, actually, it's pretty much the same. We're always focused on occupancy. So, quite frankly, occupancy is still king for us. So, but beyond that, we're interested in our hotel partner referrals from Book Direct. Their listing pro listings, and then how many clicks are to the Book Direct widget. Of course, the time on page is important, and the number of sessions to our site for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, to the point, yeah, some of those metrics will stay the same. I think, looking at things, some things definitely stay the same, right? Because they're web marketing metrics, things of that nature. I think one thing that we've touted as well, I know we've had conversations about these things, is user behavior, keeping a close eye on user behavior. We may pay attention to those things, right? Maybe more so than we did before, or maybe more frequently than we did before, because we're kind of in this, place where it's a little uncertain, keeping an eye on that user behavior, letting that user behavior dictate our path moving forward. Sessions are absolutely going to be important moving forward. Occupancy, definitely getting people back into being comfortable.
We're interested to see too we're interested too to see if any of our if our customer changes in some way.
Yeah, you bet. And it may do just that, right? Or how they approach things, or the length of stay. All important. Right. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
all important things to keep an eye on. So then, what advice maybe do you have for other DMOs that are planning their media relaunches? Because I know we've got some people that are like still in kind of crisis mode, and they're still waiting to pull the trigger. Some that have already jumped in and have jumped in. We've seen in paid media massive boosts over the last 30 days with people getting back into the paid media space. So maybe what advice do you have for others that are maybe thinking about or planning on relaunching some of their marketing and media efforts?
Well, I would definitely say do your research, ask questions of your vendors. We like SimpleView, who you trust and rely on for sure. And then also ask your hotel partners what they're doing. We got some really valuable information from our members. And also the industry itself has been super helpful. I think we've, as Traverse City Tourism, we've reached out to a lot of our Michigan DMO colleagues, as well as colleagues across the whole, industry. And they've been super helpful and had a lot of great information, creative ideas. So I think, combining all that together is very helpful.
Yeah, and I love to hear you say that about the combining it together, because it really is an effort across the board. And, DMOs have done an unbelievable job of showing value in their communities during all of this. That I think that's important to continue that going forward, listening to your constituents, working all together, understanding tourism is not just the DMO's job, it's a collective effort of the community and the industry in general. So really, really good advice and insights there.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's been great working with, everyone across the board here and, within the industry. I think we've all pulled together because it's just been such a interesting time.
Yeah, it's very different, and I agree with you. I think it's wonderful to have the industry, and the responses from DMOs has been fantastic. And it's when times are tough that you really test relationships and how things are. And it's wonderful to see the tourism community, how great it's been to come together and band together with all this. So Jennifer, thank you for stopping by and sharing those insights. It's really appreciated.
Well, thank you. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet. It's our pleasure. And thanks for tuning in each and every week. If you're not subscribed, please do so now. Just hit the button below. Otherwise, you can consume us on our podcast through iTunes or Spotify. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time, everyone, and have a great day.